All right. Welcome back, everybody,
Welcome. Round 2.
to the second part of our conversation about grunge.
Hell yeah. More distortion and depressing.
They are bummed, man.
So I decided to take us in a little bit of a weird direction, I guess. Instead of picking one of the obvious choices like Pearl Jam,
Fuck Pearl Jam. More than Slayer. Fuck Pearl Jam.
I didn't want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about something different. So I decided to pick a band that doesn't get talked about as much.
Hmm.
We're going to talk about Silverchair
Cool.
with their debut album, Frogstomp.
I feel like there was a collective, oh, yeah. You know what I mean?
You heard them? I heard them all in the future, too.
The fucking
Yeah.
Silverchair.
They don't get brought up a lot.
They were there, though.
Yeah.
They were there.
They put out some classic albums during this era. They made a lot of noise during their time. If you're not familiar, Silverchair was 3 dudes from Australia that put out their debut album when they were just teenagers. I think they were about 15.
Something like that.
They're pretty young, yeah.
The album was released in March of 1995. 11 songs, 44 minutes. Thank you, Jeebus, that it's not 70. 44,
Yeah,
we'll
fuck.
take it. They open the album with the song Israel's Son. It's got that nice gassy sounding bass line to open up the song before it comes in with the big heavy hook.
Gassy. They eat cheese and milk.
That's what it sounds. Sounds like a farty bass line. It's incredible to think that Daniel Johns was only 15 when this record was released. His voice sounds incredibly powerful here. It's on par with the other stuff that was going on. You can definitely hear the influence of some of the other bands, though, most notably Alice in Chains. But I'm not mad at that. They're bringing the heavy on this track. What do you guys think?
It's got that deep, distorted guitar sound that is signature for grunge.
Yeah, this is one of those, we listened to the same song, but heard different things. Smooth bass intro. Then
Gassy.
they drop some sick distortion on it. Guitars come in all nice and crunchy. Clean vocals that lack confidence. I feel like he's holding back.
He's 15.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have the seasons behind him of like what I'm doing is cool. He still seems kind of like timid about the thing. But the overall delivery is pretty good. Cool, subtle flange before they pick it up at the end. It's a decent opener. But it's just funny how you're like, oh, this kid's voice. Like, he had the talent, but he didn't have the confidence behind it. You know, like a fucking Chris Cornell. That motherfucker knows he can sing.
Oh, yeah. Totally. It's hard to...
I thought the bass was cool sounding. Sound like
No, I
goddamn
love
fart.
the bass, but I'm
Fart.
saying that distortion on it is like... You know, it's got like...
I like it.
It sounds a little rumbly in the tumbly.
Rumbly. You want a rumbly fucking bass. What are you doing?
Yeah. I wasn't hating on it.
Guitar goes twang.
I was trying to
bass
think.
goes
I
rumble.
was like, how do I describe this? It sounds like it fart,
Hmm.
but like in a good way.
All right. Sounds like a fart in a good way. I like it. Move.
Tomorrow is the next song. Always going to be one of my favorite songs from the grunge era. I still jam this pretty regularly. It does have the super clean 90s alternative verses, but then it gets back into the big heavy hook. But one of the things I always thought was really cool about this song is it doesn't follow the standard structure. They throw in this big bridge before they even get into the second verse, which I think is really cool.
It's their most popular song. It's catchy with the big chorus. It's an iconic 90s rock anthem.
Man, holy fucking shit. It's been ages since I had heard
you
this
back.
song. And this shit took me back. Like, if they make a movie about teens in school in the mid-90s, this song needs to be played. And at first, like, when you picked this, I was like, why the fuck did you pick this band? And then I heard this, and I was like, oh, yeah. This, like, I'm not a fan of this song at all, but it was huge. Like, this is it's Silver. Oh, yeah. I forgot about them of grunge. That's, What a crazy fucking song. It was everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Totally took me back to the fucking Jan Sport backpacks and, oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
The whole fucking vibe, dude.
That was my 7th grade year right there.
You hear the goddamn bell ringing in the background and fucking trying to go find some portalettes so you can finger some cheerleaders or whatever you did in high school. I don't know.
So anyways, Fault Line is the next song. This one's got the super gloomy vibe throughout. This one probably has more in common with bands like Bush, I think. I do like the mood that they captured here, though.
Yeah, Daniel Johns is showing off his range here with some gritty vocals that go into pure melody after. Some cool chuggy riffing on the back half. And then you get that unexpected aggressive explosion near the end of it. Oh, that's a pretty cool track.
I got an aggressive explosion for you.
Oh, yeah. It's a pure massacre.
Vocals aren't good, man. It's better than Puddle of Mud. This one gets
Oh,
kind of
come on.
it gets kind of
Fucking
sludgy on the
Is that
back
at the
end.
bar?
Oh, my God.
I'm just saying, it gets kind of sludgy on the back end, and it's way cooler than the front with the bad singing. But like you said, in the back it picks up. But yeah, the vocals terrible.
Pure massacre.
Yeah.
Another cool song. This one seems to be taking on the subject of war and senseless killing. Interesting, though, because I think the music is almost telling a different story than the vocals are. And that's something we've talked about a few times recently in episodes. But, like, for instance, like, if Scott Weiland sang over this same music, I could see where it would be like a song about meeting some cool girl in a coffee shop or something. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just interesting how the singer and the lyrics and vocal delivery can change the whole vibe.
Different approach. This is another track with more melodic verse and an intense chorus. It seems to be their formula, but it does sound good.
Pew Massacre. That's what this is. That's how they say it in the song. Pew Massacre.
Pew Massacre.
Vocals are still not good, but this song is cool. Simple little bass and drum groove with jangly guitars. One side, and it's got like the dirty on the other. That was kind of a neat one. It's okay. Pew Massacre. It's hard to take that shit seriously when he says it.
Bobby throwing a little shade over here.
Yeah, man. Got my umbrella out.
So shade's the next song. This is the ballad. They hadn't quite perfected this style yet, and it can be felt throughout the song. It's definitely not a bad song. It's got some cool lead guitar parts, but the song overall just feels like it's lacking something to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a very clean little acoustic solo in here, and it picks up the intensity at the end. I did enjoy it, but yeah, it is missing something.
I mean, you know I didn't like this.
Of course.
Not a fan of the flingity flings or ding dong sing alongs, and I especially don't like it when they fucking suck. Skip this one. Next song is way better.
Leave me out.
Yep.
Glad they brought back the heavy here. It was needed after the last track. This has got some really cool riffing. But again, it's sort of a throwaway track in the middle of the album to me.
Yeah, but the main riff's maybe the heaviest thing on the entire album.
And you know why? Because the main riff is totally rip off of Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath.
Oh, there you go.
What can you do? There's a groove towards the back end, though, that's been on countless albums of this era, like the grunge alternative stuff. It's pretty simple. They're just doing like some pull-offs, but it's interesting to be able to look back at like a collective style, like the whole genre scene. I don't think like this is back in the 90s where you can like just internet everything. So I don't think they were ripping off each other. It's just at some point, all these bands, while they were jamming, writing these tunes, all had this moment where they wrote the same kind of riff and groove. Like that's where the journey of this style takes you. And I thought that was kind of fucking interesting. Because the back half of this song has that groove that's in at least like 15 other fucking grunge bands. It's kind of like the Max riff that he stole from Helmet that he puts on like every fucking other album. But it's still neat that they all had like a common vibe and they had to been listening to like similar albums and stuff. But these guys are in Australia. Everybody else is in like Seattle and like fucking California and shit. They still capture that same fucking groove. That's kind of neat, I think.
Yeah, totally. So Suicidal Dream is next. This is definitely one of the darkest songs on the album.
Yeah.
I find it to be one of the most impactful. The rope is here. I'll find a use. I'll kill myself. I'll put my head in a noose. Not the most deeply composed lyrics, but taking into account that this was a teenager, it's pretty dark stuff. And I think it probably spoke to a lot of people at the time.
Yeah, it's another slower ballad, lyrically very, very dark. And coming from a 15-year-old, it's, yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, I want to say I mentioned this before, but I don't know. But I noticed we review a lot of songs with suicide in the title, and they're hardly ever good. How about that for a topic, best suicide songs? Or is that like way too dark?
I mean, I'm in. Let's do it.
You know what I mean? But yeah, we like a lot of goddamn suicide songs in the metal area, like fucking A.
Suicidal failure.
Don't be a quitter. Keep trying. You know what I mean? I believe in you.
Madman is the next song.
All right.
They do a pretty good job of keeping the album flowing, not having too much of a downward trend in the energy. Threw this little thrashy instrumental in here so that we kind of wake back up in case we fell asleep on the last track.
Yeah, this is high energy. It's frantic. If the band was ever going to get the pit going, this was the track. It's a standout.
Yeah, why don't they just fucking do this shit the whole fucking time? Best song, easy, heavy, skanking, and then melodically artsy, then sludgy, repeat. Besides, it's pretty much just an instrumental. Great song, I think.
Undecided. I really dig the slow, groovy riffing on this one. The song starts to drone on after a bit, though, I think.
Yeah, undecided. Yeah, I'm undecided whether I like this song or not. There's parts that are cool and then the rest is not.
It's just kind of there.
Prong the fuck out of it, the song.
Cicada is next. I think this is one of the best songs on the album. It has all the elements, and it actually has a pretty tasty guitar solo thrown in the mix.
I thought this one just kind of chugged along until the bridge, and then the fade out feels like the end of the album, but we still have one more track.
Yeah, cicada. I don't know what cicadas sound like in Australia. If it's annoying as fuck, then they nailed that. But our cicadas here in the land of swamp ass and death metal, that shit sounds like a buzzing shriek. Maybe the lyrics explain the title. I'll never fucking know. This song has the influence of their national heroes AC/DC on there though. But all in all, I didn't like this one.
I thought the National Heroes of Australia was Parkway Drive.
That's fucking stupid.
Anyways, last track. Find a Way.
Find a Way. They decided to close it out with an up-tempo song. This song, I think, is good as a standalone song, but it doesn't seem to fit on this album to me. The song is overall positive, both in its message and its delivery, which is cool to hear. Like, I'm glad that, they pulled themselves out of the depression and suicide talk. But this song stands out like a sore thumb on the rest of the album.
Yeah. We never share our notes. We always remind people of that. This is a more punk influenced song that does not really fit on the rest of the album. The production quality is also lower, making it feel like something that was recorded on a demo or something before this album. Thought it was a fun track, but very misplaced.
Yeah, it sounds like shitty early Foo Fighters. And like I saw him listen to this, and then I was like, what the fuck? Is that the snare drum I've been listening to the whole goddamn time? Because it's like really shitty. And I like stopped and went back to the album. I was like, no. It's just this one song. Like you said, the production on this is like stands out. It sounds like fucking dog shit.
So you loved it?
I did not like that song. No, it was fucking terrible. But man, what a shitty snare sound. But Silverchair, the little brother of the grunge crowd. Kind of always forget about them, but they were there, man. They definitely made an impact. You mentioned Betty had like an influence on the Chevelle. I think this band did too. It's another one of those like radio rock stuff, kind of like Blink-182 and Breaking Benjamin, like kind of had that same vibe that they got from Silverchair. I think there's a little bit of Silverchair influence out there and a lot of bands. I said the earlier stuff lacks a bit of the confidence in seasoned songwriting, but you can't say or deny that this was pretty fucking impressive. What are like 15, 16-year-old kids? Man, that's pretty goddamn good. I was never into these guys, but on the re-listen, I found I enjoyed it more than I was expecting. 5 out of 10 songs weren't bad. Silverchair Frogstomp is a 3 upside-down pentagrams.
I think there's a lot to like here, but the pacing on the album is weird. It's very up and down. I think arranging the tracks in a different order would give a better listening experience. It has all the elements of a good grunge album with the distorted and dirty guitars, moody and depressing lyrics, and big catchy choruses. Still, I left the album feeling a little bit underwhelmed, so I give Silverchair's Frogstomp a 3.5 out of 6.
Overall, this was an album that really grabbed my attention in my youth, especially Israel's Son and Tomorrow. However, the album is definitely another one it's pretty front-loaded. I find the album incredibly impressive, given that it was written by 3 teenagers. They recorded an album that gets mentioned in the same breath as other legends like Pearl Jam and Nirvana. So that in itself is quite the accomplishment. But listening back this week, there's some songs on here that aren't that strong. So find myself not giving this the rating that I would have anticipated. I give Silverchair's Frogstomp a 3.5 out of 6 upside down pentagrams. That said, they have a lot of good tunes, and I actually think the follow-up to this album, Freak Show, was a better album overall. So definitely worth checking out some of their stuff if you have not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.